Welcome back to Adventures of a Black Belt Sommelier, sponsored by Four Paws Restaurant, the iconic fine dining restaurant in St. Paul, Minnesota, with wonderful food, attentive professional service, and excellent wine. Uh, you can see it pictured behind me, the warmer time of year. God, I love my job. I really, I really love being the sommelier at Four Paws for a variety of reasons. But last night I loved being the sommelier at Four Paws because a guest brought in a bottle from his wine cellar of 1995 Chateau Cinq Cepages. Um, this Cinq Cepages kind of burst on the scene when it was the wine. I can't remember which vintage or which year, but it was the Wine Spectator Wine of the Year. Um, but 30 years old is pretty old for this wine. I didn't know really. So anyway, opened it for him. The candidate poured it. And he offered me a glass. I said, sure. So he poured me, not a taste, a glass of this 30-year-old Alexander Valley Bordeaux blend. So it's called Cinq Cepages because it's a blend of the five Bordeaux grape varieties: Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. Um, and it's, one of the iconic California red wines because it was the Wine Spectator Wine of the Year one year. Um, I took a minute and checked on the Wine Advocate for what Robert Parker's review of this wine was, and it was actually Robert Parker reviewing it, not one of the people that now writes for the Wine Advocate. Um, well, it's hard to imagine, but he gave it 87 to 90 points and said it needed to be drunk by 2018. Um, this bottle, this bottle from this storage, whatever it is, this fellow's wine cellar was not an 87 or 90 point wine. It was definitely a 95.1. And it was not the least bit past its prime drinking. I think I told the guest that I would think he said he had one more bottle. I said, I hope you come back in 2 years and bring that last bottle because I think that it has another couple of years to really, really reach its peak. This bottle, it was extraordinary. Textbook Bordeaux blend from California. Um, Kind of tasted like hypothetical, you know, I don't know, Chateau du Cru Beaucaillou, but made in a California style. So fabulous wine, really fabulous wine. Robert Parker was way off on this, in my opinion. At least this bottle with this cork and stored the way it must have been stored. He must have a really, really good cellar because at 30 years old, it was really singing. Um, I don't imagine you can find any. I didn't look, but there can't be a whole lot of 95 Cinq Cepages around for sale. But if you have some in your wine cellar, I'd say over the next 2 years, it's time to drink it. And it is a really, really fabulous wine. Fabulous. Uh, One of the best California wines I've tasted in a while. I love mature wine because my career is involved in mature wine, like the 1870 Castle Lafite Magnum. That's pretty mature. Um, so my palate is kind of calibrated to more mature wines. And of course, this is an illustration of why we have wine cellars. It's so that we can have a bottle of wine like this, buy it in 1988, 98 probably, and then drink it over the course of the next 30 years um, and see how it evolves and see what it becomes. And then enjoy it when it's really singing rather than 3 years after the harvest. That's why we have wine cellars. Also, so that we can share them with people we care about. Which I now all of a sudden I really care about this guy that gave me that glass of this marvelous wine. Thanks for tuning in to Adventures of Black Belt Sommelier. Come by and see us sometime soon at Four Paws. Have some fettuccine with white truffles and a glass of these absolutely superb 2021 GD Vira Barolo Albe. It's a pretty good combination. You can sit at the bar, have some white truffles and Barolo. Doesn't get any better than that on a cold winter night in St. Paul, Minnesota.